Yes, we've all been there. You wake up from an amazing nap, you stretch your arms, and then you feel it. Something wet, something damp, something cold. Yes, we are talking about nighttime draw. Now, not necessarily it happens only at night, but majorly we know when we sleep at night, we wake up with that wet, damp pillow, or bed sheet, and we are wondering what's happening here. So, what's the reason? What's the why? Now we have to look into anatomy and physiology. Like I said, if you've been following me, I'm a certified physiologist, and I'm bringing to you today the reason why you draw when you sleep. Now you should understand that your mouth contains many salivary glands. It constitutes of the parotid, the sublingual, and the submandibular in various locations in your mouth. Your salivary gland produce spit, or the proper word saliva, produces average of 1 or 2 liters of saliva in a day. You could imagine that, right? And what happens is, physiologically, when you sleep, especially during the REM phase, there is 2 stages of sleep. You have the REM and the non-REM. REM is random eye movement. That is the point in sleep where it's deep. Dream heavy. When I say dream heavy, you tend to dream a lot. Now, what happens is your body goes into a state called muscle atonia. Muscle atonia is just a fancy word for temporary paralysis. Now, that being said, it's muscles that generally drives our body. You understand what I mean by that? Our movements, both voluntary and involuntary. So there are things that you want to do voluntarily, like you want to stand up, you want to walk, you want to raise your hand, fine movement, you want to write. Those are voluntary movement. Then there are involuntary things your body too does, just like swallowing. When you are sleeping in that REM state and you are producing saliva, because your body still produces saliva, right? Because in the day you are producing the saliva, you are swallowing it, right? Your body is doing this swallowing for you in autopilot, like autopilot. But when you're sleeping and you get to that stage, especially, and you have that temporary paralysis, you still produce saliva in your sleep. Your mouth produces the saliva, your body keeps producing saliva, but then you are in that stage of sleep. Instead of swallowing it, because of that muscle atonia, your swallowing also slows down, and that would hinder swallowing of the spit, right? So where else will it go? You get the waterworks, you get the pool of saliva on your pillow, and then probably you now add gravity to it, that little resistance from going to the back of your throat, probably with a pillow, or depending on how you're positioned while sleeping, the saliva has a pathway to come out and rest on your pillow. So that's how. Now, what's the trigger? There are triggers, you should know that. And when I mean triggers, there are even instances where in the night you have a water park, as in a water pool, and some nights it is dry. Why this variation? Well, it depends on how you breathe when you sleep. Understand that when you're sleeping, you're breathing, right? That is another involuntary work your body does. Your nasal cavity, muscles, and the likes, handles that, your lungs and the likes. You don't need to control that. But then, if there is blockage of your nostrils and you can't breathe through your nose, your body has to take an alternative, right? It has to substitute using your mouth because you got to breathe. So even regardless of you knowing, of course you are sleeping, your mouth is open. You have to take in air, but then you are breathing through your mouth, and breathing through the mouth is a green light for drooling while sleeping. You should note that too. Very important. And to avoid that, so when your body substitutes with your mouth, it could be because of a blockage in your nose, and which could be caused by cold, a disruptive septum. If you've seen a skull before, yes. So that part for the nose is the septums. They are open spaces. So whether through a cold or a disrupted septum or allergies, because to be by allergies, it results to difficulty in breathing through the nose. Then you have to breathe through the mouth. And it's also be caused by lifestyle and medications. Yes, lifestyle in the sense that maybe you take or medications. Maybe you take muscle relaxant, you are taking drugs that causes overstimulations, right? Overstimulates saliva production. And then also, if there's an acid reflux, right, it sends a trigger to the body generally that to protect your throat and avoid scarring due to the acid. Your salivary gland produces more saliva. Those are the triggers. Now, we've been talking about drooling, saliva production, all these things. How to either stop drooling in our sleep or limit it at least to an extent. There are factors like medications which you cannot avoid taking if you really need them, but then there's lifestyle, and by lifestyle we have to tackle that. One thing is sleep with your back. If you're a side sleeper, your stomach sleeper, as you're lying with your stomach or by your side, turn into your back, flip it. Okay, you know that you actually get affected with this a lot. Just try tonight, sleep with your back. What that does is that when you sleep with your back, it's gravity. You are helping as your mouth, your salivary gland is producing, that saliva, that excess saliva, and even you are now a deep sleeper again. You are the REM sleepers. Oh my goodness, you are the heavy dreamers. Sleep with your back. So when you are dreaming, something is aggravating the saliva production, and as it's being produced, gravity will help it go down to the back of your throat, and that will trigger easily. Even if you're having a muscle atonia, like I explained, maybe just temporary paralysis, still it could cause swallow reflex. Yes, and it will go down to where it should, your throat, to go down to your throat. Another thing again is clear sinuses. SINUSES. So clear your sinuses in the sense that I'm saying this is a fancy term for me trying to describe clear your nose. Make sure you are breathing well enough before you sleep. That is, maintain a room temperature generally. That's what I mean. Maintain a warm temperature in your room. People that are on fan is directly over your head, and you are complaining that you are drooling. What happens is when you have a blocked nose, like I've explained, you can breathe through your mouth, but when you clear it, whether through an humidifier, you can use an humidifier. You can use a saline spray, humidifier, or take a warm bath. If you cannot afford any of those two aforementioned, take a warm bath. I hope you can afford a warm bath. If the weather is cold, just boil water for many things. Boil small water, make it very hot. And if you use a shower, use the warm side. So every time you bath cold water, do that also to clear your nostrils by using warm water. So be intentional about that. Stay hydrated, okay? Yes, it sounds counterintuitive, as in taking more water doesn't it result in producing? No, it doesn't work that way. In fact, it's when you are dehydrated that you are trying to like signal to your body, give me more, exactly, lubrication. Because our body, I don't want to go too deep. There's a lot to say. You avoid your body producing more saliva in order to lubricate your organs. So yes, water is very important. So it will stimulate your body to produce more saliva if you are dehydrated. So stay hydrated before you sleep. Now, to the golden nugget. I have a golden nugget for you people. Drooling, drooling in sleep is not a defect. Okay, it is a sign of deep rest. That is, your nervous system is doing what it should be doing. Okay, so embrace that body. Your body is just resting hard. Okay, right. So if this video helped you to embrace that damn pillow, I want you to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button as well. Write in the comments if you are a side roller or a back sleeper. Subscribe for more bit-sized science. Sleep well, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.